And Fox 5 is celebrating Black History Month with a look at African influences on American cuisine. Coming up, we hear from owners of a local restaurant on what sparked their passion for cooking. We'll be right back. There are only a few food categories that spark so much debate. Barbecue is one of them. Who has the best? Sauce or rub, pork barbecue or beef? But what can't be debated, where the whole process started and how it's connected to Black history in America. So as we continue to celebrate the African influences on American cuisine, we catch up with the owners of the District Pit as they share more on what sparked their passion for cooking.
The first time a lightning strike hit a tree and it caught on fire, it was time to barbecue, and everybody understood that. Everybody knew it. My name is Roger Sherman, and I'm the pit master and owner of the District Pit Barbecue Catering Company in Washington, D.C. So our culture, is obviously permeated through the Americas because Black people and Black slaves were cooking for people in the big houses, and they were raising their children. Indirectly, all of those things become parts of different cultures. Barbecue in Black culture comes from access. So if you take a cow, the people who have more money and more access are going to be able to get access to those prime cuts of meat. And the discarded portions of that cow, thicker parts of the cow that are typically working muscles with lots of connective tissue in them, would be discarded. And that's what, people of lesser means, and in a lot of cases, Black people, would have access to. That's why I like to say that barbecue is not only universal, but it's deeply embedded in the less fortunate community, and unfortunately, sometimes that means the Black community. So my father used to cook in the fireplace. He'd set up the coals, and then he had this big rack that looked like a giant set of ribs that kind of rolled over the back of the fireplace, and he would put the fire on the bottom of that portion and put meat on the top of it and cook there regularly. And it made the house smell terrific all the time.
So my mother's from the South. She brought a lot of her customs and traditions to our home in Philadelphia, and so I saw my mom making collard greens and okra and black-eyed peas and all of that famous Southern fare. And I watched that and learned and crafted my own recipes based on what I watched my mom do.
There's a lot of aspects of barbecue that people don't think about. It could take 8, 10, 12, 14 hours to cook a big piece of brisket, but that entire time that you had out there, standing next to mom or dad or grandpa, learning stories about the things that they did when they were young and picking up those stories and understanding their history is part of the Black culture. It's no different than standing around the hearth with grandma while she's making a stew or making chili. It's no different than sitting around in the basement of the church doing the potluck. And the smile that they have when they get that first bite, the look on their face, that is one of the reasons why I enjoy cooking so much, is because the gratification and the satisfaction you get by seeing people eat.
I think it's awesome to see Black cuisine rooted in our ancestors' history and the struggles of our race really being elevated. It shows just how wonderful of cooks my mom was, my grandmother was, your father was, and others in the African American community. And so I think that's something to be celebrated, that Black food is American food. Black culture is American culture. And it's about time that Black cuisine, Black culture, Black dance, Black lives were elevated for everyone to see and recognize how powerful and how wonderful they are.
I'm about to call Roger and get some catering set up for Good Dad.
Listen, if
we're watching that, right?
If we can set that thing up, we were just talking about it. It looked amazing, and I love the history lesson.
Great story, too. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Michael, the story out.